Boo! Haha, scared you with my classic Halloween prank. Sorry about using such a scary font, but you know, 'tis the season, and on this season, I got a Halloween present from my buddy Chase. We're both big fans of Peter Brown, and especially his video where he makes
a bowl of pure evil.
He's the godfather of resin videos on YouTube, and in one of his most popular videos, he made something that he says,
"This is a murder bowl."
He essentially made a giant blank out of resin and aluminum shavings. Well, Chase used to work at a metal shop and got his old boss to send me a ton of aluminum shavings, just like Peter Brown used, and they are incredibly sharp. As I run my fingers through them here, it kind of feels like you're dipping your hand into a bag of razor blades. Luckily, I didn't cut myself, I don't know how, I don't have any calluses, and all of these aluminum shavings just started cutting through the bag and filled up this box. So they are very, very sharp, they're not pleasant to touch. Definitely recommend wearing gloves if you're going to touch them, which I read about in Chase's letter after I had already touched them. I'm very smart. But let's go ahead and move on from the shavings and get into actually making some dice. You might be asking, yo, Rybonator, why aren't you using your brand new dice mold? Well, it's brand new and I'm about to put a bunch of very sharp aluminum shavings into it. So I'd like not to cut that, and we're going to actually make a shell mold set of dice. There's a couple reasons that I chose to do this instead of a regular set of dice, which I hope will become apparent the further we get into this dice making process. So I start mixing up some Envirotex light resin. It's a 1:1 by volume mixture resin, and I make a lot of it because I had something I wanted to do with this resin, which I'll show you here in a minute, but that all kind of goes down the tube anyway. Now, Peter Brown puts this very dark black pigment powder inside of his set. I have black by Stuart Simple, which is the most matte black pigment that I can possibly get, so I figure this will probably do, and I mix it into the resin. It gets very dark, and it's time to start adding the aluminum shavings. Those of you who know how space and things work, not space as in outer space, but small volumes like this work, are already seeing that I'm doing something dumb. I'm about to mix all of these aluminum shavings into the cup here. It kind of acts like steel wool in that as you add it, it just kind of clings to itself and never really unravels. So as I'm mixing the resin in with this aluminum, it's doing nothing but getting more tangled up. I thought it would be fine. I'll just add some more aluminum to it. It'll be fine. I add even more aluminum. And I'm starting to realize this stuff is not going to come apart. I'm not going to be able to take this off and put it inside of the dice molds like I had planned to. So I do a smart thing and add even more aluminum. I realized it wasn't going to work at this point, but I had already mixed up so much resin and aluminum that I decided, hey, I might as well make a mini murder bowl. That way, if Peter Brown happens to see this, and yes, I put even more aluminum because I want it to be completely filled, maybe he'll say, hey, I'll make a mini murder bowl out of that, like a murder teacup or something. I don't know. Maybe he'll want it, maybe he'll see it. If so, I'll send it to him. I let the resin cure as I was working on other stuff, but this gives you kind of a good look into what Peter Brown had made and why it's so dang deadly. I take it out of the cup and it's awesome. It actually really does look like a mini murder bowl. We can totally make a mini teacup out of that. Murder teacup? That doesn't sound near as deadly, but looking at it up close, you can see why it's so dang sharp. And now that it's held in place with the resin, those are super sharp aluminum pieces. They don't want to move, and as you put your hand against them, it has like so much resistance. So if you did run your fingers along this, you'll probably cut your fingers. So don't do that. Let's move on to some dice. If you remember from the last time we made shell type dice, the inside mold is essentially just going to act like a blank shape that we'll put in a regular dice mold. Because of that, I found the best way to actually make these dice is to just shove the aluminum shavings down inside of there. The resin will kind of fill up the gaps, and if there's any air bubbles, it doesn't matter because we're going to put these in a shell mold and coat them in resin anyway. Now, instead of doing the black pigment like Peter did, I decided to change it up a little bit and do black alcohol ink as well as a little bit of glitter because I got to put my own flair on it, right? But the black alcohol ink will let you see through the resin a little bit more. This is important for my project because unlike Peter's, I'm not going to eventually put this on a lathe, so there's not going to be any resin that's cut away and I won't see the metal inside. I need to be able to see some of the metal inside from the get-go. So I start mixing this stuff up. My black alcohol ink looks super green whenever I mix it. Even here it looks mondo green, but for some reason by the time it dries it'll be super duper black, so don't worry about that. It will work out just fine. I start pouring the resin into the mold and I have to go extremely slowly. I'm essentially trying to fill it from the bottom up and let the resin fill any gaps that are inside there and hopefully not leave any large air bubbles where the aluminum meets the resin. So I go as slow as I possibly can and let the resin fill from the bottom up, and it actually seems to do a pretty good job of not leaving too much air inside of there. Luckily, I'm going to put these in the pressure pot here in a minute, so hopefully that will help remove even more air. After topping up the mold with some extra resin, I pop any surface bubbles that I can with the lighter. I let it sit there for a few minutes before doing that just to try and get all the bubbles possible. Throw the lid on, and it's time to put it in the pressure pot. Now, as I set it in the pressure pot, you might notice something called a little shop time sticker. It's because I'm a huge Peter Brown fan, and he also sent me something, but that's going to be in a very future video. I'm still trying to work out what I want to do with it. Anywho, 40 PSI for 24 hours, and boom, our dice inserts are actually looking really good. I'm very surprised that there weren't large air bubbles or voids in the corners. One thing that you can see though is some of the aluminum trying to stick its way up and out of the resin. That's happening on all sides, and that's why I wanted to use an older mold set in case it happened to damage the mold. I would have already gotten some uses out of it. But I take the inserts out and they're looking fan-freaking-tastic. I'm not going to have to sand them up since they're going to go into another mold, but like I said before, you can already see some of the aluminum sticking out of the sides of these blanks/inserts, and so that's just another reason that the shell dice molds are going to be ideal for these dice. Doesn't that shot already look great for a thumbnail though? Murder dice! I think Peter would already be pretty happy with these bad boys, but we still got a lot more to do on them. Remember, since these are just inserts, they got to go in the outside or the shell mold where the actual numbers are. These inserts will sit inside of the shell mold, and the numbers will help kind of keep them in the center of the mold, and it'll look great. I go ahead and mix up some more resin, which we're going to add another few drops of glitter to, because if it's going to look good, it might as well look shiny and good, because things that are shiny are just better. That's a fact. That's why they make shiny Olympic medals. I'm going to take some of this resin and pour it out into a separate container, because I'm going to add some cadmium red alcohol ink and some Always a Bridesmaid mica powder into it to create this kind of almost shiny blood looking effect. I put way too much alcohol ink in there, but luckily it didn't end up mattering in the end. But as I mix it up here, you can see the effect that I'm going for. A real like old school horror movie type looking blood, but shinier. And so again, that makes it better. We're going to do some old school dice making and zip up some of this resin into a pipette. Zip up the proper word? I don't know. We're going to put some resin into a pipette, and then we're going to go ahead and fill up our outer shell molds about 2/3 of the way filled with our clear but glittered resin. You can fill it more than 2/3 of the way, you just don't want to underfill it. But the reason that we had some of that red resin inside a pipette is I just want to put one streak of red inside all of these. It doesn't have to be a large streak, just a very small bit of red to add to this, because when I put these inserts inside, I want it to almost smear, as if blood had been smeared across these murder dice. On a normal set of dice, I think it would be enough to make a tribute set to Peter Brown. However, these are coming out on Halloween, so they gotta have some extra murder to them. So why not have a cool blood smear added in resin? If I'm gonna do it, it's gotta be done in resin, right? It's a tribute to the king of resin. So I think it looks pretty good. The amount of red that I'm seeing is kind of concerning though. I thought I might have overdone it on the red as they were pushing their way out of the molds, but either way, put it in the mold, leave it in there for 48 hours so that it's super rock hard, and bam, these dice look fan-freaking-tastic. They look so metal, and I know that there's aluminum shavings in them, but this is a double meaning metal because they look straight out of a Molly Hatchet cover. These are absolutely rockin' awesome metal dice. I love them so much. They're so cool. I do think I overdid it on the red just a little bit on some of them. However, some of them, it was the exact perfect amount. The D4 here is fantastic. The D6 had a little bit too much, but the D12 is exactly how I wanted it to be. Some sides of it just straight up metal, and then some of it looking like a pool of red blood. But we have to sand these things up and get them to a glass-like shine, and so we're going to use some Zona papers on a flat surface like a glass pane. Zona papers essentially act like really high grit sandpaper. If you are a Peter Brown fan, you might see him use micromesh. I just use Zona papers. I also get asked in the comments pretty often why I don't use the sander that I made to polish these dice. It's because I want to show you how to be able to do it in case you don't have a sander, because a lot of people don't have their own little dice sander. So this is how you do it by hand. Now we need to ink them. The first colors that came to mind were gunmetal and obviously gold, but if I'm going to make these metal dice, I think that I should really paint them in essentially liquid metal. I've used this liquid chrome to make chrome dice before, but now I'm just going to ink them up because I think that this this is as metal as I can possibly make them look. And the more metal it looks, the more murder it looks, which is what we're really going for here. You can see the chrome creep its way up the bristles of the brush and it starts to look very Terminator-y. I'll pretend that I did that for another Halloween reference for another costume I could be wearing with Terminator. But we all know I'm going to wear the Bob Ross costume, so this is pretty moot. As I paint the numbers on the dice or ink them, I wipe off the excess with my finger. I don't know if you should do that with this liquid chrome, so maybe you don't do that. Maybe you use a paper towel or a tissue or something. Also, pro tip, if you do have excess paint on the outside, once it dries, which takes like 2 days for this stuff, just dip a paper towel or tissue into some alcohol and then it will wipe away pretty easily. I had to wait like 2 days for these all to dry, then wipe them with alcohol and wait 2 more days to be able to touch them and film them, but it was worth it because man, are those numbers looking fantastic. They blend in so well with the aluminum that shows up in the background. The only thing that I kind of wish was that I had maybe used 1 drop less of the black alcohol ink, made it a little bit more transparent so you can see all the way through, but all in all, I am super happy with this set. It looks absolutely fantastic, and I think that it is a murder set of dice, but looks aren't everything. How do they sound? Now, I wanted to do another Halloween prank and fill this dice roller book with blood, but I kind of blew the special effects budget for this video on candy, so just pretend it's filled with blood and be like super scared in the comments, okay? Hey, rolling a nat 20 on the final test roll, though. That's fantastic. These dice look great, so they should roll great. I'm probably going to send them to Chase as a thank you, but remember, Chase... Oh, no! They're so sharp because they're filled with the aluminum. Oh, no, blood's pouring out. Remember, be scared when the special effects budget's blown. Ah, no, all the blood everywhere. No, Halloween. Okay, joking aside, I really am proud of these dice and think that they are as murder-y as I can make them. I hope that makes it feel like I stuck to the original intent of making a tribute set of dice while also adding my own spin on the whole murder, aluminum, and resin thing. You should check out Peter and Carl Jacobson's collab on that murder bowl. It's truly fantastic. Those guys are awesome makers, and Peter got me into resin making in the first place. So yeah, he's great. Go watch great stuff. Anyway, I hope that you all have a fantastic Halloween, and I know earlier that I said that I blew the special effects budget, but it was actually on this. Boom! Flamin' Skull. That costs like $1 million in CGI. Eat your heart out, James Cameron. Avatar 2 looks like nothing compared to this. Thank you so much for checking out my Halloween dice. Subscribe for some more content like this. Like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. I want to hear that too. Either way, I hope that you have a fantastic, spooky day.